Hello and welcome to Marketing Cap. Today we'll be discussing the service marketing triangle. And this is a framework that shows the interconnectedness of a company and its employees and customers. So, as you can see by this diagram, which is up here, it shows how the company relates with its customers and with its employees, and how those employees relate with the customers. So there are clearly three parties involved in this framework. That is the company, the employees, and the customers. And you might be wondering, isn't the company and the employees the same thing? While that is actually true because employees are employees of the company, they represent the company. From the perspective of this model, you should look at the company as more of the managerial positions within a company. So this is more of like your C-suite type of people, and most of the work is done in the backend, meaning they don't actually interact with customers. While employees refers to front line employees who actually interact with the customers. And customers, of course, people who buy the goods and services rendered by a company. To truly understand the differences between the company and the employees, we have to look at the processes of this framework. So firstly, there's external marketing, which is the communication that occurs between the company and its customers. So external marketing is what most of us are familiar with. When we see billboards, when we see TV adverts, when we see social media adverts from a company, and that's external marketing. It's when the marketing department and pretty much the whole company, but particularly the marketing department, comes up with these different promotions and they convey these promotions to the general public through various channels. As I mentioned, newspapers, social media, billboards, and other such forms. Then there's internal marketing. Internal marketing is the communication between the company and its employees. So it's a communication between management and frontline employees. Because when senior management comes up with things, like particularly the marketing department, suppose the CMO and these more senior marketing employees comes up with pricing strategies, comes up with service and product packages, they have to ensure that the employees who interact with customers are well aware of how these pricing mechanisms work and how these products and services work as well. Because if the employees, the frontline employees, do not understand the product, they don't understand the company, it would be difficult for them to effectively help out the customers. And another thing to look at is that it's not only between the marketing department and frontline employees, it can also be with like the C-suite, maybe the CEO or even the founders, because of things like the mission statement, the vision statement, and the values of a company. These things need to be communicated to frontline employees because there has to be a certain level of consistency and cohesion within the company, whereby everyone is well aware of what the company stands for, and to the general public, the same message should be spread out through and through, rather than having different frontline employees saying different things, and then you find that the CEO is saying something else and some other spokesperson is saying something else. So all employees within an organization need to know what the company does and what the company is all about. And then there's the last process, which is interactive marketing. This is the communication between the frontline employees and the customers. This is essentially like the real interaction when a purchase happens, because external marketing, the marketing department, or even the senior managers come up with something like maybe a new promotional strategy, and they just post it on the social media, right? They call up newspaper companies and other social media advertising companies, and they just spread out this great idea they came up with in the boardroom. But they have to ensure that the customer is also aware of this, because if senior management goes around spreading this information to the general public, but the employees, who are the ones who actually interact with the customers when the customers come to the branches of the company, if the employees know nothing, they're not going to be able to deliver the promises that have been made by the company. So it's important that when senior management comes up with ideas, before they spread that to the general public, they should first spread it to their employees. And then they can spread that to the general public. That way, when customers hear this good news, they see the promotions, and they come to the branches of the company, its various outlets, the employees should know what to do. They should know what the customers are expecting. And it's important to note that interactive marketing can occur either virtually or physically. So an interaction between a customer and an employee can happen in person at, like, let's say for example, a hotel where the receptionist and the guest interact at the front desk. This could also happen virtually through something like email, for example, with customer service, or even things like a phone call. That's virtual. So it can either be virtual or it can be in person. And to truly understand this process, I will use an example of happy hour at a hotel or restaurant. So let's say, for example, we use Marriott, a really big hotel chain. They realize that the restaurant division is losing sales. So in order for them to increase their sales, or at least get back to where they used to be, they decide to introduce this happy hour concept, whereby every Wednesday from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening, they offer a happy hour where all drinks are 50% off. So the marketing team, along with other senior staff within the organization, approve this idea. They think, wow, it's great, fantastic. And they just publish this information to the general public, whether it's in a newspaper, through the billboards, through the people who manage the social media. They put it on TV. And then customers are like, oh wow, that's great, right? They show up to a Marriott hotel on a Wednesday between 7 and 8 p.m., which is during happy hour. They're ready for the drinks, which are 50% off. But then the employees, the frontline staff of the Marriott hotel, were not aware of this decision because senior management did not inform these frontline employees. So this is from the receptionist to the waiters to the bartender. They didn't know about this. So now the customer comes in to the hotel. They first go to the reception, then they say, we're looking for your bar. We want to get a drink, 50% off, it's happy hour. And then the receptionist is confused. Well, what's going on here? We don't have any happy hour. That's not happening. And the customer is going to feel disillusioned because they were promised something, but when they actually go to the outlet of the company, they're told that thing doesn't exist. So it's like you've made a promise to your customers, but you're not able to fulfill it, which is like lying to your customer. So you're breaking trust and essentially chasing customers away. And that's why it's important to use the service marketing triangle framework to ensure that everyone within the organization is aware of what's going on. That way, when customers come in, the promises that have been made to them can be fulfilled. Another way of looking at the service triangle is that external marketing, which is a communication between the company and the customers, that is making a promise. So with our example, happy hour on Wednesdays between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then internal marketing, which is a communication between the company and its employees, is enabling the promise, which means ensuring that the company can actually fulfill the promises it makes. So by letting your frontline employees know that, hey, we've come up with this great strategy because we want to improve sales, and we're going to let the general public know about this. We're posting it on our social media and in newspapers and all that. You guys should make sure you're ready for what's happening, for what's about to happen, and you can help the customers accordingly based on the promises that we have made to them. And then interactive marketing, the communication between the customer and the employees, is known as keeping the promise. So this is actually fulfilling the promise that has been made. Once the promise has been made, right, and the customers know about this happy hour, and the employees are also well aware of the happy hour, keeping the promise is the employees assisting the customers with getting their drinks 50% off on Wednesdays between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. So that is the service marketing triangle. And ultimately, the importance of this framework is to ensure that there's cohesion within an organization, which then leads to trust between customers and the organization. Because if customers have been promised something, but then they don't get it because the frontline employees are unaware of this promise that has been made, then customers will not get what they were promised, and they will feel disillusioned. It will break trust, break a bond, and these customers might go off elsewhere. So that has been the service marketing framework. I hope you found that helpful. Do with that as you will.